Since the primordial soup that gave life to all on this planet, since the earliest human settlers of Earth, we've asked one another, do you love memes? Do you love food? And for the longest time, there was never a holy place that combined these two human necessities into one convenient package until now. Welcome to heaven. If you haven't puked yet, then you've likely entered a state of euphoria, similar to when Aang goes into the Avatar state, except this one is triggered by memes. This is similar to a Rorschach test more than anything. What do these stale, dank memes mean to you? When I see them, I think of social ineptitude. I think of nothing but pain and suffering. But some of you out there may see them and think, damn, that makes me hungry. I wish there was food structured around shit like this. I'm gonna have to put the brakes on this wild bull here. What the fuck do you mean by humor appreciators? That's one of the dumbest terms I've seen being tossed around in quite some time. It sounds like a failed job position, just a made-up one that somebody would use to get their family off their back and make them think they're at least doing something and have an accomplished title. Oh, what do you do, Richard? Well, I'm the chief humor appreciator at Google. Pretty prestigious position if I do say so myself. Yeah, you know, when I think of humor appreciator meme enthusiasts, I typically think of middle-aged, elderly men in business attire. Also, I have to disagree. I don't think even that boring guy at the party can become popular by sharing meme videos for the whole party. I don't see that going over very well in the real world. Memes just aren't used exclusively for the geeks and the humor appreciators, as you like to title them. It's pretty mainstream. Most people are familiar with popular memes and such. It's not like this underground thing. Also, why? Because we can? Well, clearly not. You can't do this because you're on Kickstarter asking for $350,000 to bring this abysmal idea to life, and you didn't even have the decency, the courtesy. You don't even know the way to good Kickstarter rewards here. There's 3 tiers, and the lowest one is $5,000. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Epic Rage. Wow. Now, if this menu doesn't make you want to eat there, I just don't know what will. They have everything an 8-year-old boy could ever want. They got spaghetti, they got burgers, they got onion rings, man. They've got it all. And this is just the mock-up. This isn't even its final form. I can't wait for the full menu to be released. They'll have so much more shit. They'll probably have some super cool shit like the Damn Daniel, which will be a honey mustard salmon hot dog. The What Are Risottos, which will be a risotto. The possibilities are truly endless. A juice bar and tablets for internet surfing? Fuck. You'll never want to leave. They've got everything. This place really is just all over the place. They don't know what they want to be here. They just looked at every restaurant that's successful, and they put all of it under this feces-covered umbrella of memes being the glue that holds it all together. And it's a horrible idea. Holy Lord, forgive my tits for I have sinned. I actually thought this was a bad idea until they gave me the examples of some of the things I could find there. Sign me the fuck up. 5,000, I'm in. Meme of the month, huh? Well, not all memes are as PG as the ones you're using at your restaurant, so I can't see that going over super well. I also really love how when they do the visual representation of is this a joke, they use a happy man smiling with thumbs up like, yeah, it's a good joke. And when they say, no, it isn't, he turns into this sad looking guy. He's like, thinking about it, seems like a really shit idea. I skipped a little bit there, but all it was is, how can you help? Give us money. That's the whole thing there that I skipped. I also really like this here. Even $1 helps? No, you clearly don't care about the $1 people. You don't even get out of bed for the $1 people. You wouldn't piss in their mouth if they were dying of thirst if they gave you $1. You only have tiers for 5,000 and above, so how can anyone think, anything less than that will be worth their while? I won't be doing that. I'd lose friends sending them this. I won't be sending it to them either. I'd lose families sending them this. And that's the whole pitch here. I'm sure you've all been sold on the idea and are eager to help them reach the $350,000 mark. That's it. See ya. I don't know what it is about chairs that compels people to constantly reinvent them by creating these batshit insane ideas one after another. It seems every month there's a new horrible chair design. This one's made out of sawdust. You sit on it and it'll help your posture and also reduce body odor and combat swamp ass. I just made a video on a shitty chair design not too long ago, and now there's an even shittier design. It's just crazy the rate at which these awful chairs are being produced. So this is the Anti-Manspreading chair, and Mashable says it's absolutely brilliant. So if Mashable says it's brilliant, it's probably the dumbest fucking thing you've ever seen. It's basically a timeout chair from middle school. I'm surprised they don't put a dunce hat on the guy that sits in that. Just look at the way he's sitting. He looks depressed. He looks very scared, shy, like he's about to get beaten by his wife over there. Banging his knees together and his balls are fucking constricted, and if he moves around it's gonna be like a Newton cradle in his nutsack. This is just not a very comfortable sitting position for most men. If you took his pants off right there, it'd be looking like Homer Simpson strangling Bart Simpson if Bart Simpson was his nutsack. The testicles need room, and the sack needs room, otherwise everything gets strangled and uncomfortable. That being said, the men that flail out their legs are obvious douchebag assholes, but it's not just a man problem. Women do that same thing too. It's not exclusive to one of the genders. Anyone can spread their legs out, taking up way too much space. I don't know why all of a sudden it's been named after men. It happens for all genders. How socially inept are people these days? This isn't a solution to anything. The solution for someone taking up too much room is politely asking them, hey, can you scoot over a little bit or not take up this much room? A conversation with someone is typically enough. Unless you're squaring off with fucking Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe who happens to be man-spreading on your subway, then yeah, maybe he won't budge, but most people aren't opposed to moving their legs a little closer together if you nicely ask them to. But to say they need to curl up into a fucking fetal position, little ball sitting down like this chair makes them, that's not exactly considerate because that's super uncomfortable. The nutsack needs a little bit of room, which is why the legs typically get spread out a little bit. You see, if I saw a dude sitting like this with his hands on his knees and shit like this, I'd assume that he's hiding something from me, like he's concealing a deadly weapon down there that he intends to use. It's a suspicious looking posture in seated position for most men. All curled over like that, looking all proper like they're at the bottom of the pyramid on a cheerleading team. It just doesn't make sense because no one's gonna willingly sit like that because it is uncomfortable. And also, this chair doesn't help with the issue of spreading your legs too far, both men and women, because you can just rest your legs on top of it. It's not that high, unless it's coated with barbed wire and broken glass. It's not going to hurt you that much. It's just it's a useless invention. I don't know if they plan on selling this. I didn't bother looking into it more. I imagine they will try and sell this as like a novelty chair for someone who thinks they're fighting some noble fight against the man-spreading menace, the epidemic of legs spread out too far. But it's still, no matter what, even as just a one-off thing, just a fucking dumb idea. And this is where I get totally lost on what their idea is here. They make the kryptonite to their own chair with a man-spreading chair that teaches you to spread out further than you need to. I don't know why they say only women can use it. I don't see some type of biometric lock on it that's going to prevent a man from sitting on that chair and spreading out. And I don't know why you'd be teaching people to spread out if what you're trying to stop is the spreading out. I guess they just want the women to be the one to spread out, which I don't fucking get at all. If I was a woman, I would be genuinely offended and insulted that this product exists because it treats women like they're too fucking stupid to know how to spread out. So instead they're going to charge you money to buy this chair, to put a little fucking wood block where your vagina is, so that way you spread your legs out. Fucking charging you money for man-spreading training wheels. It's embarrassing. I just really don't get it. Again, I don't know if this is something they're trying to sell or not, but my god, even the fact that they invented these 2 prototypes is just insanity, just straight fucking lunacy. You don't say. I mean, it won't even act as a band-aid on the problem, and it's not a problem in the first place. It's an imaginary problem. There's not some type of fucking pandemic sweeping the world where men are spreading their legs out across the entire fucking row of chairs or across the whole subway doing full-length splits. You can ask someone to scoot their legs in closer if you need the space. I don't think there's going to be many people that are rolling up their sleeves ready to fight you because you asked them to scoot their legs a little closer in. It's fucking ridiculous. And also, Mashable sucks. I hate this trend where they bold random letters. So they bolded forever and manspreading. It's like they're subliminally trying to send me a message telling me to keep manspreading forever. It's not a problem faced by only women. In fact, it's not a problem faced by many people at all, but it's not exclusive to women when there's someone spreading their legs too far. That affects anyone that wants to sit around the area. Yep, just absolute garbage, but hats off to anyone that wants to pay for some of these bad boys. You know, maybe I'm wrong and this will catch on huge and I'll be going to a restaurant and I'll have to ask to order the manspread-proof booster seat. Or I'll have to take like a driver's ed course of manspreading, learning the proper ways of sitting using these chairs. It's just an unbelievably ridiculous idea for a product and just a big old pile of shit. That's about it. See ya. I had perhaps one of my best ideas ever last week, and it was for a tier list because I've been really fucking into making tier lists recently. Basically, the tier list was a YouTuber's asshole tier list based on taste, and I don't think many YouTubers would let me just straight up eat out their asshole, just give them a rim job and put it on a tier list. So instead, I remembered something that I learned about back in college called edible anus arrangements, which is a take-home asshole mold that you apply to your butthole and then ship into the company, which turns it into a chocolate based on the impression from your real-life God-given brown balloon knot. It takes your chocolate starfish and turns it into a gourmet chocolate to be enjoyed by your friends and family. And I thought this would be a great idea to get YouTubers' assholes, not only put them on display, but try them, and see which YouTubers have the best tasting assholes. Does Jacksepticeye's fudge portal taste different than PewDiePie's? And does it look better? You know, I'd grade it on a bunch of different criteria, and I thought it would have been a very interesting tier list, but I underestimated how apprehensive people were to putting mold in their ass. You know, for me personally, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. Like, I wouldn't just be kicking back on a Saturday with a Miller Lite in hand and putting mold in my ass. But if it's for the sake of a tier list and for science, I'd take one for the team. I'd be a good sport about it, like a real champion. I'd trooper through that. But I guess not everyone thinks the same way, and a lot of people are shy about how their asshole looks, I suppose. And there was just a lot of factors that I didn't consider. So surprisingly, there wasn't a whole lot of interest from the YouTuber community in letting me try their assholes, so I don't believe I'll ever get the chance to make this tier list. Maybe somebody else could try and get this going, like maybe Mr. Beast could organize a YouTuber asshole eating competition for $100,000 and you win your own island. I don't really know. But for now, it looks like I won't be able to make this tier list, and I think it's a real shame because I thought it was one of the best tier list ideas that's ever been hatched in this corporeal dimension we inhabit. I thought it was an absolute fucking banger of an idea. And honestly, I think the reason a lot of people declined is because they looked up edible anuses, and there's a video on YouTube where some girl goes to get an edible anus made of her butthole, and she didn't bother to wipe her ass, so when they take the mold off her ass, there's just a bunch of like shit particles all over it, just crusty little shits hanging all over the mold. And that was also a hazard that I didn't stop to think about, because what if one of the YouTubers decides to play a 3 a.m. prank on me with a haunted butthole, where they take a shit and they don't wipe or clean themselves, and then they do the asshole mold impression, ship it away, and by the time I get it, I'm literally just dining on their fucking shit. Which would be terrible, but a great prank, which was something I didn't think about. So honestly, it might be for the best that everyone that I asked declined, and declined pretty outright. There was almost not even like that kind of attempt to fake interest in it, where people are like, oh, it sounds like a great idea, but I'm gonna have to pass. It was just a straight up no, what is wrong with you? Which makes sense. I can totally respect that. I also imagine some people are just kind of afraid of it, because especially if you have a hairy asshole, like you might accidentally give yourself like a fucking Brazilian wax with it, which would hurt very badly. And it might even leave a weird impression where your butthole looks like it was attacked by fucking Wolverine from the X-Men. I don't really know what kind of role asshole hair would even play in the impressions of the ass. So, I mean, there's so much, unknown variables that could have come into play there that honestly, it really might be for the best that everyone declined that idea. But I think on paper, that's probably one of the best fucking ideas YouTube has ever seen. It's just, unfortunately, we're not in the right day and age to really make it happen. The technology's not there yet. Until we can get actual edible anuses made without using physical mold, I just don't think we'll get there. So hopefully DARPA can get on that project and make edible anuses without needing the mold. Perhaps you could just 3D print someone's ass in chocolate using only pictures, but we're not there yet. And yeah, just wanted to share this with you because I thought it was such a great fucking idea. That's about it. So yeah. I'm no stranger to stupid ideas. In fact, I'm the god emperor of dumb, dangerous shit. Recently, I thought it'd be a really cool video idea if I strapped Kevlar to my chest and then shot myself point blank with a revolver, just because I thought that'd be like super fucking cool, like how strong is body armor and is it painful? Hopefully the body armor would be strong enough to stop the bullet. It wasn't like an elaborate suicide attempt. I was convinced it was a cool idea because the guy who invented Kevlar, I think every year for the last like 30 or 40 years, he has a convention like a Kevlar con, like furry con, but for body armor enthusiasts, where he puts on a Kevlar vest and he takes a revolver and just shoots himself in the chest. And dude's like 80 years old and he still does it. And I'm like, if this old fucking fossil's bones can take it, I'm sure I can too. And I'm like, that's a good video idea. And I had to be talked out of it by my friends. The point being, I come up with shitty, dumb ideas all the time. Another really banging bad idea I had is I thought it'd be great if you directed a porn video, but put like a jump scare in there. Just put like right when it's reaching climax, so that way whoever's jerking off is about to like blow their load, and then all of a sudden, bang, big jump scare out of nowhere. Just to really ruin someone's day. Again, bad ideas across the board. So I have a keen eye in recognizing impossibly awful ideas, and one I want to share with you today is one that I found really enjoyable. Of course, it's on Kickstarter, where all bad ideas go, especially when they try and scam you. This is a lawnmower that uses lasers to cut your grass instead of the spinning blades. They claim that lawnmowers are the cause of over $1 billion worth of injury per year. Like 550,000 Americans are being injured and dying from the lawnmower menace, making it sound like this is the real pandemic, that lawnmowers are killing everyone out there. In 10 years from now, it's going to be nothing but mangled corpses littering the United States because the lawnmowers are taking over and rising up to spite us.
J&M Inventions, LLC is a family-owned business, father and daughter team, which focuses their attention on making people's lives safer and avoiding injuries and deaths. They invented a new way to cut the grass, the laser lawnmower, and are seeking $400,000. They have contacted a large well-known company, we are unable to say which company due to signing a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, and they have shown interest in the laser lawnmower. However, they are wanting a prototype and proof of concept. Please help us to help others. Every dollar gets us closer to the goal. This lawnmower could prevent you or one of your loved ones from being injured or killed.
What a presentation, am I right? I was moved to tears. My wallet was flying out of my trousers to give it to this project. Nothing inspires confidence quite like having a text-to-speech voiceover because the people behind it are either too cowardly or just don't exist in the first place. It's a disaster. So they don't have anything to show. They don't even have like a fucking Microsoft Paint doodle of their laser lawnmower. All they have is the idea, like, what if we took a lawnmower and put lasers on it to cut the grass? It's like something Dr. Evil would come up with. I don't think I need to explain why it's a stupid idea, but I'm going to anyway. If you're using lasers to cut your grass, they have to be some strong fucking lasers, and it has to vaporize the grass. And you're using heat, because it's lasers, right? So you're taking heat to your lawn, which is, you're going to be rolling the dice every time you try and cut the grass with your laser lawnmower. You're just going to light your whole fucking backyard on fire. Imagine you just get the lawnmower out, old Grandpappy Cletus is out back with his push laser lawnmower, fires that bitch up, and it immediately just catches fire on the grass. You better pray that it rained last night before you bust out the laser lawnmower. Otherwise, you just fucking cremate yourself out there. It'll just be a spontaneous combustion. You'll incinerate when you fire that bitch up. I think a lot of people may overlook the cost. It is significantly cheaper to just take some flimsy pieces of metal and strap it on something that spins than it is to put fucking high caliber lasers on this device here. That would be like a fucking $50,000 lawnmower in order to have lasers strong enough to cut your grass. And oh my god, you better hope that you don't accidentally like lift the laser up, you just light your fucking legs on fire, or, you know, blast somebody's eyeballs out if it reflects off something. There is so much danger associated with this project. It's like they saw the number of 550,000 Americans being injured by lawnmowers and like, you know what? We can pump those numbers up. That's some rookie shit. We can do better. I'm surprised they weren't pitching like, what if we took a lawnmower and put C4, so you fire up the C4 to blow up the grass, you know? It's a crazy, stupid idea. Also, all their claims are wrong and just made up. I decided to look it up. I did know the United States leads the world in lawnmower-related deaths and accidents, but the number is not 550,000 Americans. The number is 35,000 Americans per year suffer some kind of lawnmower-related injury, which is still significantly higher than you should expect. I think that is an outrageously high number, but it's also not this apocalyptic figure that they keep posting on there. I also love the way they sign off their presentation. You need to donate to us in order to save your mother and your children, because the lawnmowers are coming, and they're not stopping. The only thing that can stop these lawnmowers is our laser lawnmower to meet them in armed combat, Mortal Kombat on the battlefield. They like threaten you to donate, like, you know how much you love your parents, they might die to the lawnmowers pretty soon, and only we can stop it. Give us money. There's literally nothing here except this weird stock animation they paid 5 cents for in order to present this PowerPoint. There is nothing. They don't have a single design document. They say they're in talks with some large company who loved it, but then don't say the company, and then say they need to have a prototype and a concept design and shit. How convenient they can't name the company. I don't know who the fuck they talked to that said they loved this idea. Must have been Jimmy Neutron Corporation. I have no fucking clue, because this is the stupidest idea imaginable. Why would you want to take that much heat to an extremely flammable source? I can't imagine what their next project's going to be when this one inevitably fails. Maybe they'll come up with like the toaster bathtub floaty. It's a little floaty for you to put a toaster on, so when you're taking a bath, you can also make toast. And maybe it'll fall in and electrocute you. Who knows? But it's an invention, you know? I just love dumb ideas like this, and Kickstarter and Indiegogo are so full of them. I love shitty scams like this. It's fucking wonderful. But this one, they didn't even bother putting in any work. There's not even a single shred of effort put into it. They didn't even bother to voice it over themselves. They don't have any kind of design document or anything. It's just, what if we had a lawnmower with lasers on it? It's like something a child would pitch at a student class president running. You know, like, I'm gonna give all of you lasers on your shoes. Vote for me. Love it. I just wanted to share this because I had a big goofy smile on my face reading about this and watching it. The video is pretty boring. They just go into non-existent numbers they pulled out of their ass. Here's some statistics that we made up. Get scared, cause the lawnmower menace is coming. What if the most dangerous place in the universe wasn't hell? It was your own backyard. Look at these lawnmower injury statistics and piss in your fucking pants. Piddle in your britches. Because it's scary. But we have the solution. It's a lawnmower with lasers. Pussy? But yeah, anyway, that's about it. So yeah. We've all had extremely awful ideas at some point in our life. It's part of the human condition. We're cursed to occasionally think of the stupidest shit possible. I'll go ahead and share one of my worst ideas ever with all of you, and I know I've brought this up before, but I think it's always worth mentioning again. For what it's worth, I still think this could have been a banger video. I'm not convinced it's actually a stinky idea, but my friends stepped in and slapped some sense into me. I wanted to do a breast milk tier list, where we get a lot of different breast milk from some strangers and compare it to see who has the best, you know, which athlete submitted the tastiest sample. You know, like, imagine that video. That goes so hard. That's like a Mr. Beast 100 million view video right there. Here's 100 strangers all lactating in a circle. Whoever has the best breast milk wins a house, you know. Point is, we didn't do it, and this is what separates us from the true lunatics. We're able to recognize when an idea is terrible and shouldn't be acted upon. At least most of us. Like I said, in terms of breast milk, I still think there was a nugget of genius with that idea. But the ability to not actually go through on a horrible idea is extremely important, and apparently a skill some people lack. I want to show you a video as well as go over a situation that happened in Mississippi this week where a daycare worker was convinced it was a good idea to go into the daycare wearing a scream mask and yelling and shaking kids for no reason at all other than to be cruel. Not that there's ever a reason to put on like a Halloween mask and start like trying to jump scare 4-year-olds. I can't really think of a situation where that would make sense. It'd be justified, like, oh, I see. So the reason you went up and started yelling and screaming at this 4-year-old spitting on their face is because they didn't write their name in cursive properly. Ah, okay, now I get it. Just an all-around fucking stupid decision from this lady here to do this. It's pretty disturbing to watch, so I'm not going to show you too much of it. It's pretty hard to sit through. And these kids are so young that if you put like a ball behind your back, they're going to think it vanished. These are really young kids we're talking about here who are very, very scared and upset about this. So I have no doubt that they probably went home fucking frightened. Like, it could have been traumatizing, I have no doubt. The daycare worker did get fired. I'll give you the good news right away. They were investigated and fired for this incident based on what I read. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of it. Hey, calm down, kids. It's just a prank. What? Why aren't you laughing? It's a YouTube prank video. What don't you get about it? Oh, lighten up. Come on. Oh, why are the parents upset? What, you sent your kids to daycare to, like, learn or be safe or something? No, I'm letting the demon out. I'm scaring the shit out of them. That's what daycare is all about, I guess. Just an all-around, completely brain-dead idea here. And you would think they'd stop after this first room here, like, maybe they're so stupid they didn't grasp that kids are obviously going to be afraid of yelling in a creepy mask. So you'd think that they're like, oh, okay, this was a bad idea, maybe delete the video and we're never going to talk about this again. But they were so confident and having so much fun, they did this to the entire daycare, even after this first room. I always hate when people say this and reference the show, even though I did like the show, but it truly does feel like a scene straight out of The Office where Michael cooks up the dumbest fucking plan imaginable and then does it. I get the same vibe from this whole situation as I do something from that show. Now, I first saw this on Twitter, and Twitter being this repository of the dumbest fucking most unhinged takes of all time, I expected a lot of the comments to say things like, kids are too soft these days anyway, we need to toughen them up. In fact, I don't think the daycare worker went far enough. We need to start feeding them nails in their cereal and motor oil in their milk. Make them big and tough, grow up big and strong for the harsh world we live in here. But to my surprise, I actually didn't see any of those takes. This was so indefensible that not even the most brain-rotted zombies on Twitter came out in support of this in any way. It really is just a genuinely horrible idea, start to finish, top to bottom. It's just a crazy lady who thought this was a good idea to just traumatize the kids there. And she's not alone, by the way. She does have an accomplice. I didn't show her in the video, but the woman filming shows another woman who's encouraging her, saying, oh, those kids over there have been kind of naughty. Maybe you should go scare them, which she does. So I don't know if they're using this as some form of cruel punishment for not following directions properly. I don't really know. But she's not alone. There was at least one other person who was encouraging this behavior. I'd also like to say I read a post from the woman who filmed this video. Apparently, she wasn't in cahoots with the masked lunatic here, this deranged maniac who did this. She was filming this as evidence that they're kind of fucked up. Apparently they had done this before and it wasn't filmed, so this time she wanted to make sure she got it on tape to send to the parents to let them know what was going on. Of course, this could be a lie, there's no telling for sure, but I am inclined to believe that because it doesn't sound like the woman filming is like encouraging her or anything like that, at least not that I heard. So I just wanted to at least put that out there for like complete information regarding this. I'd also like to give a personal tale from the past of Charles, a little lore dump here, some exposition. I do remember being in like 3rd or 4th grade, and for Halloween sometimes a teacher would dress up or decorate the room and maybe even make it like a creepy like moment scare thing. But it was always so quick where it was like, ah, gotcha, it's just me, the teacher, Miss Algebra here. You know, like Scooby-Doo where they unmask the thing so that way the kids aren't super afraid. Also, I was like 9 or 10. You know, I wasn't like 4 years old like the kids in this video. So I think there is just a huge difference. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with teachers having fun with Halloween in the classroom, like decorating it, or even doing like a ooh, spooky moment thing. But it has to be something quick and not fucking traumatizing like this. There's just no place for that. At the end of the day, when you play a prank or you do like a lighthearted scare that's supposed to be in good fun, afterwards, everyone should be able to laugh about it. They shouldn't be screaming and crying as a result of your prank or whatever. I won't show you any more clips from the video, but I would like to describe one more thing that happened in here that I found to be particularly disturbing. One of the kids gets so frightened he starts running away as quick as he can, but the lady in the mask starts chasing after him and then picks him up and brings him back to the area where she's yelling and screaming at the kids. So I feel like this is going to make every kid here hate October, as well as feel genuinely unsafe at that daycare from this point forward. And it's also going to make the parents really concerned because this is someone they've trusted with their kids. And for some reason they decided to just start scaring the shit out of them for no reason whatsoever. So overall, just a horrible idea and a bad situation. I am happy to hear they got fired for this, 100% deserved. I think that is 100% a great move. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. All great things in life first started as an idea. Someone brave who wasn't afraid to ask, what if? Automobiles, electricity, ass eating. What do these 3 things have in common? They all began as an idea. One of the most powerful traits of human beings is our ability to ideate and come up with these complex solutions to problems, or just in general create something from nothing, and it all starts up here in our little noodle. Now, there's a reason I'm talking about all of this. I'm not just on PCP having an existential crisis and ranting. The other day, my friends and I came up with a really fun idea that I thought would be just a really overall positive thing, but I wanted to run it by Twitch stream last night to see what chat thought, to kind of just take a temperature and see where everyone's head was on the proposal. And Twitch chat gave it like a 98% approval rating, which to me is the green light to go forward with the idea. If your voice wasn't heard, it's probably because you weren't in stream last night, so shame on you. The best idea you could ever have is stopping by my Twitch streams at twitch.tv/moistcritical. I stream every day. Hope to see you there. Anyway though, here's the overall idea. For the entirety of my 15 or 16 years on YouTube now, people have just openly left suggestions for content I should make in the comment section of my videos, or in Twitch chat, or just directly emailing me with video ideas. And I have absolutely made content based on or inspired by some of your suggestions, because a lot of these ideas are just straight up bangers. Like, you're dropping heat for free. And I've just been feeling like it makes sense to actually pay you for them. You might not value your ideas, but I certainly do. So starting today, anytime you cook up some fire content ideas, instead of just dropping it in the comment section or throwing it into the Twitch chat, use the Google form linked in the description below and just explain the fuck out of it. Present it like you're pitching it on Shark Tank. Tell us the idea, and then also there's going to be a spot for your PayPal email address. So if we do make something around your idea, we'll pay you $500 for it. But then we thought, why not get a little wackier with it and go hog wild? So we thought about doing a performance-based bonus as well. So if your idea goes hard and the video we make around it pops off, we'll give you an additional $500 if it gets 1 million views, and then after 1 million views, we'll give you an additional $100 per 100,000 views that it gets post 1 million over the course of a 30-day period. It's easy to track performance over the course of a month, but this isn't something that could live in perpetuity because tracking a video for years down the line is just kind of a headache to keep track of like all of that and whose idea that was. So for the performance-based bonuses, it'll be over the course of 1 month, so just a 30-day period. Now, a question Twitch chat asked that was a really good question is if multiple people submit the same idea, who gets the money? The only fair way we figured out to do that is whoever submitted it first. The first person to give that idea will be the one that receives the money for the idea. I think that's the only way that makes sense. To me, all of this sounded like a fun idea and a way of saying thanks and giving back for just some of the ideas you've been freely giving away for years now. And Twitch chat seemed to agree and convince me it was a good idea, but maybe they were just straight up fucking lying and I look like an absolute idiot right now, a true imbecile. I don't know, but to me, in my tiny little brain, this felt like a fun, good idea. That's not the only thing I'd like to discuss. There's actually another topic that I'd like to go over today. But before doing that, I want to start with something that I haven't said in a video yet, but if you tune into my streams, you'll know. Moist Esports got its first official sponsor, and it's one that I'm really happy about. It's Opera GX, and they're also sponsoring today's video. Big thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Opera GX is the best browser available. It's one that I've been using every single day for the better part of the last 2 years now, and I've never looked back. I love everything Opera GX offers, from the customization to the personalized wallpaper to every single feature that they have available. So for example, let's say you're currently using Chrome. One feature Opera GX has is you can import all of your Chrome settings directly into Opera GX seamlessly. Opera GX also has its own extension store, but all the extensions you're used to with whatever your current browser is also still work on Opera GX, such as Chrome extensions. And another really cool thing is the GX profiles, where you can set it up exactly how you want it to run. So if you're streaming, for example, you can set up the configuration to streaming where it'll no longer show any private information to viewers, or if your PC's not doing too hot, you can also set it to configuration potato, which just is browsing in its most basic form, so there's no stress on your computer. Opera GX is just the best browser available, so I highly recommend it. You can download Opera GX for free by clicking the link in the description below. I'm still super happy that Moist Esports first sponsors Opera GX. Just what a great partner. So again, big thanks to them. Now the next thing I'd like to talk about is in regards to the thousands of channels that exist now that just re-upload my Twitch VODs, or they'll cut up my Twitch VODs into a few parts and call them like Moist Moments or Moist Critical Clips. And people have been asking me, do they belong to me? And if they don't, how do I feel about it? The answer is no, they don't belong to me. And how do I feel about it? I don't really give a fuck. I don't care that much. I've said this for like a decade now. I make content and do all this shit for fun. If someone's going to re-upload it, I don't really have a problem with that. People have suggested like DMCA striking them. I'm absolutely not doing that. The only thing that's a bit of a headache is now my actual official other channel, Moist Charlie Clips, has to directly compete with myself. Because a lot of these channels are owned by people that aren't in the US, they're uploading while I'm asleep, so I'm not even able to upload my own content before they do, since they're awake when I'm catching some fat snoozing. So that's a little upsetting because I'm getting beaten by myself. So right now, the biggest enemy for Moist Charlie Clips is Moist Charles himself. Another thing is a lot of them are pretty clever. Like, this is a normal thumbnail for Moist Charlie Clips. Aaron makes these. He does most of the heavy lifting. It's not like the wildest thumbnail, but what some of the channels will do is they'll copy this almost exactly and upload it on their channel, hoping that it'll confuse people into thinking it's the official one that I own when it's not. And that's a little weird, but another thing that I also think is pretty clever is some of the channels will actually even censor the swear words because cussing, saying fucks and shit, leads to a lower CPM, so they'll actually bleep it or censor it in order to get the most bang for their buck when re-uploading my VODs. One channel in particular doesn't re-upload the full VOD, they'll cut up bits and pieces and make them moments and edit out the swear words, and that channel in particular has made roughly $15,000 to $20,000 per month for the last couple of months. So they're just straight up fucking farming here. So that's kind of the state of all that. Right now, Moist Charlie Clips is my only other channel. Also the only channel to get uncensored Twitch content from me. I'm gonna have to carve out my own little niche here in the Moist Critical Twitch clip market, I guess. So yeah, that's the only other official one. I just wanted to put all this information out there to let you know that all the others are not mine. And no, I don't plan on DMCA striking them or anything like that. So yeah, just wanted to clear everything up there. That was the other really big topic I wanted to talk about, but I do want to make a mention of something else that I'm not sure if I've even talked about it much in videos, but Moist Esports now does have an Apex Legends team. We picked up former Team Burger, one of the best in the world, and the ALGS is finally about to roll around. So a lot of people have been wondering, when does Moist Esports Apex finally start popping off? And the great news is, it's this week, baby. That's right, November 5th at midnight Eastern time. Yeah, it's a late one, and of course I will be watch partying, you already know that. So, for those that don't know, Team Burger is Australian based, and they are now the Moist Esports squad, which means our team is Australian based. So, all of the Australian ALGS tournaments are going to be super late for US time zones, but you know what? That's fucking fine, baby. So I just wanted to put that out there, let everyone know that yes, now it's finally starting, and hopefully we go super hard out there. I have a lot of faith in the boys. I think they're a very strong squad, so I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited as well. So I just wanted to mention that, and yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Everyone seems to be constantly scrambling in a frenzy for social media interaction or views, and in the words of a great douchebag, attention is the most valuable currency, and right now people are eating each other alive for it. Like even just recently we saw the Stanley Cup craze where people were going feral, absolutely ballistic, like peeling flesh from bone to get their hands on a new limited edition Stanley Cup so they could go home and film a TikTok for it for a couple updoots and brownie points online to let people know that they're part of the cool trend. And as this has continued to be the focal point for our species, this internet attention, the pursuit of it has gotten really depraved. Over the last few years in particular, on YouTube specifically, we have seen so many people try some extremely dangerous things in order to stand out from the crowd, whether it's really dangerous or cruel pranks, people getting themselves shot for the sake of their content, or getting themselves even killed for the sake of trying to produce content that'll get a lot of eyes on it. Like shit, it's in streams too. Half of Kick right now is just the most hateful garbage from people trying to be incendiary and get themselves beat up in a fight. Just like, watch me get my ass beat, episode 500 with Jack Doherty. And it's there because it's supposed to be shocking. And it's just an awful direction, but that's kind of the content pill society has taken recently. And that brings me to what I want to talk about today. My friends and I like to joke around with this concept, and sometimes we'll brainstorm some of the most degenerate video ideas imaginable. Ideas we'll never actually do, but sometimes we'll cook up something so foul that it becomes a really tasty treat to play around with as like an idea. So I wanted to take you into the kitchen today and show you this secret recipe for a particular formula that we thought was just entertainingly awful. This is perhaps one of the worst ideas we've ever had for a video, and I just have to share it because I do think about it from time to time. Not as a piece of content that should ever be made by any sane human being on the planet, but just as something that is so fucked up that I can't help but giggle at the absurdity of it. Would you ever donate sperm? Okay, this is another idea I think we'll never actually do, but it's an idea we tossed around as a joke that I think about from time to time. I don't know if I ever said this on stream. It's a diabolical idea. I want to preface by saying that. If all of us donated sperm, and when you donate sperm, there's like a whole process you have to go through to make sure you're like okay to do that, and that people would choose your sperm and all of it. Like there's a whole bunch of bells and whistles and hoops to jump through for it. You can't just go there and be dumping DNA willy-nilly. But we thought it'd be really fun if we went as a group to do that, and someone uses our sperm. I think you get notified if it gets chosen, like if someone's using your load. And we would make a video checking in on the families that used our sperm in 18 years and see who had the most successful child. To see whose sperm was like the mightiest and produced the best offspring. But it's kind of a fucked up thing to do. But as a concept, it's like, that's kind of fire. Like, no, my kid's actually the best. Look at this. You know, he just graduated high school, straight A's, and he's got a scholarship to USC. It's like, damn, no, my kid's got a crippling heroin addiction. Shit, I'm out of the race. Darn. Like, conceptually, it's a banger. But morally, well, there's a lot of gray area to work with there. Maybe an 18-year-long content investment. And then you meet your child and you have to break the news to him like, look, bud, you were just content. I conceived you on this upload date for this purpose. Thank you for winning me the competition. The 23andMe would go crazy, though. Hey, that whole thing would go crazy. The winning child gets the ad revenue. Yeah. But just think about, you can make a whole slew of videos out of that. You can make like, you know how people do those time lapses of I took a picture of myself every day for 6 years or whatever? We do a time lapse of like our children from a distance. The parents keep us updated on their activity. And we have like after 18 years, this beautiful montage of our child growing up. And then we get to see who wins in the end. That's like a whole season's worth of activity. Yours would definitely win. I don't think so. I think if the whole crew gave their semen, and let's say we actually pulled the trigger on this downright evil idea, I think I would probably not win. My genes aren't great. I'm 5'6". I had terrible mentality growing up. Acne out the wazoo. Like, I think my kid would probably not be super happy. I think of our group, Chase would win. Chase is a specimen. Chase is like one of the most gifted athletes without ever trying. Anything he does that even remotely resembles athleticism, he crushes. And he is naturally good at everything he does. Literally everything Chase does, he is incredible at. I think Chase would produce a superstar. Yeah, but you're smart. Chase is so much smarter than me. Chase blows me out of the water. Like, out of our group, I'm probably the fucking dumbest too, so I don't have anything working in my favor. I would lose this competition right away. Bro, I'd give birth to like another fucking Jack Doherty. They'd be miserable. I'd be ashamed. Meanwhile, Chase is gonna have like an actual hero, a champion. There's actually a documentary that ran for 50 years and was pretty much this concept. They followed a group of children from elementary school until they were elderly and would check in every 7 years or so. You slowly saw them devolve into druggies over time. Well, that made me really sad. It was like really wholesome until the last sentence. Well, hopefully hopefully our idea wouldn't go like that. Not that we're ever doing it. But that would be a very sad ending. If your kid's a speedrunner, do you automatically win? No, absolutely not. It was illegal and Dateline covered it. The study that he was referencing, whatever that was. Yeah, I'd never even heard of that. What do you consider an early loss? If we did this? Well, I don't think you'd have an early loss unless the kid dies. Like, I don't think there's a disqualification. Or I guess if they get thrown in jail. Those would be like the only two things that would be an early disqualification, I think. Man, that'd be fucking tragic, though. Imagine we're doing our, like, I don't know, quarterly check-in on our child. And we learn that they've either been jailed for some heinous crime or dead. That'd be the worst fucking update to that video. Like, damn, guys, I lost. My kid shed the mortal coil. How are your kids doing? It'd be fucking terrible. In Germany, there was a real pilot for a TV show about a sperm race where 12 contestants donate their jizz and see which is the quickest one to reach an egg. The winner would receive a Porsche. That's too deep into the content pill. You know, it is actually an evil idea, but it's one I think about from time to time. It's like the craziest idea that I think we've ever just joked around about. Make your kids play League all day, leveling accounts, and whenever they get an account to level 30, they get their meal. That's just torture. somehow ours is more humane than yours. Fucking maniac over here, Jesus Christ. Would you ever want to have kids? I talked about this a little bit on stream. I don't have any plans of that anytime soon. I legitimately think if I had a kid, I'd feel bad. My kid would undoubtedly be short. I don't think somehow my father's tall genes skipped my generation and the next one would get it. So my kid's going to be around my height, 5'6", probably, unless the woman is super tall. So I feel like I'd feel bad for him, because it's not easy, especially with social media. Constantly getting picked apart for every small insecurity or weakness you could ever imagine for yourself. And short is like the most commonly accepted one that's still fine. Like, no one bats an eye when you're insulting someone for being short. So I feel like the kid would need a very strong chin, and there's just a good chance he wouldn't have it. If I ever wanted a kid, I'd probably adopt. There's so many kids without a home right now. There's an overabundance of kids that don't have a home. Is your mom short, or did you get unlucky? My mom's short, my dad's super tall. And I got the height aspect from my mom. Mom's 5'2", dad's 6'5". So I went closer to my mom. I didn't even split the middle. The middle would have been around like 5'8", 5'9". It's sad you think that just get your height. I'm fine with it. I can handle it. But not everyone can. There's a real thing called short man syndrome. Like, legitimately, it is a thing. Do I look awake to you right now? I hope not, because I'm pretty sure I'm sleeping, stuck in a nightmare of streaming services. It's so exhausting. Chick-Fil-A is apparently launching their own streaming service. Kind of. It's more so the company that owns Chick-Fil-A is launching a streaming platform, but even still, there's a lot of silliness to touch on with this. I've already been shaking my fist at the clouds about how absurd streaming platforms have become, and every company on the planet is fishing for any possible excuse to launch a streaming service to try and wring you out like a towel to get a couple extra doubloons to fall out of your wallet. And today it's been reported that Chick-fil-A is putting their ass on that toilet seat as well. They're going to be having their own streaming service, apparently. Chick-fil-A being closed on Sunday has given the executives some extra time to cook up some of the worst ideas imaginable. So, before going into the nitty-gritty and diving into the weeds, I think most sane people would probably write this off as a horrible idea. They're a fast food restaurant. They're not in the entertainment industry. They don't have a catalog of productions or anything except for like the Eat More Chicken commercials. But you can't really launch a streaming service that's just Eat More Chicken animated adventures or whatever. It's super stupid. It's not like they're gonna fill their Chick-fil-A Plus with, Martin Scorsese exclusives or anything. It would very likely be just quickly shot, haphazardly thrown together garbage, would be my guess. Again, Chick-fil-A is in the fast food industry, not the entertainment industry. The only thing they entertain is my butt with a little extra poop when I eat too many chicken nuggets. According to Deadline, Chick-fil-A is working with a number of production companies and traditional studios to create multiple original shows for a streaming platform debuting sometime later this year. So mark your calendars, it's coming pretty soon. I can't wait. Maybe this is going to be the platform that picks up Halo Season 3. Imagine how blessed that would be. Halo partnering with Chick-fil-A to deliver the worst adaptation mankind has ever experienced, and bringing more of it. Thank God. Initially, the restaurant is said to be focused on family-friendly, unscripted programming, including a game show produced by Glassman Media and Sugar 23. I'd never heard of either of those companies, so I looked them up. Glassman Media has this impressive resume here. I've heard of 3 things on here: The Wall, and Bingo. All the others I'm in the dark on. Ex-Wives Club sounds like an absolute banger, and The Cowboy Way looks like Ram Ranch, and it was so good they brought it back to Ultimate Cowboy. Those actually look like the covers to those like erotic novels that you see on TikTok from time to time, or like a Chuck Tingle book or something. Maybe the show is incredible. Maybe it absolutely claps cheeks. I couldn't tell you. But The Cowboy Way and Ultimate Cowboy really caught my eye. And of course, I'd never heard of Sugar 23 either. It sounds like a screen name a Predator would have used before being busted by Chris Hansen. But I looked into Sugar 23, and I don't really understand. So on their website, it's a bunch of buzzwords about innovation. It's a talent management and production company that's been reimagined, which to me sounds like one of those Michelin-starred restaurant, like, pretentious menu items. It's a deconstructed hot dog using squid. But they keep talking about, the mission to impact culture through entertainment, world-class entertainment executives in scripted and unscripted TV, film, and podcast. They create original premium content for global distribution. And here's one of their examples. P&G Studios, Time Studios, and the secret sauce, Sugar 23. I love that they call themselves the secret sauce. That is adorable. Came together to make a star-driven documentary series focused on making the world a better place. Sounds very wholesome. Quick side note, you know what I'm really tired of? Star-driven anything. The Borderlands movie should prove once and for all that people don't really give a fuck about the star power behind a film if everything else about it is terrible. This probably doesn't apply to that documentary series. Again, I don't know anything about it. But just that word star-driven or star-studded, that word is foul to me now. It's like poison. Let the material of the production speak for itself, and if there's great actors and actresses attached to it that people know, then that's just a bonus. It shouldn't be the selling point of a movie. You've just wasted a ton of money on an absolute dog shit script, talking about Borderlands here, and paid hand over fist oodles, millions upon millions of clams for a bunch of A-list actors and actresses that don't want to be in it and can't save it. It's just a waste. Anyway though, Glassman Media and Sugar 23 that we just learned about through this quick lore breakdown, this adventure I went on, they are slated to be working on this in some capacity, but down the line, the currently unnamed service could also feature original scripted series, animation, and content that's either licensed or acquired from other entertainment outfits. And thus is the curse of streaming services. Anytime one of these fucking things sprouts up, they always take from other already existing streaming platforms to try and get fans of whatever that product was to just immediately buy a subscription to your new one so that way they can continue to watch it. I hate that practice so much. Like, if you go to try and watch the entire Pokemon series, like Donkey illustrated in his video about streaming services, you have to go to, I think it was 7 different platforms to watch the entire series or something crazy like that. It's unacceptable. Like, that should just be illegal. It really should. It's such a headache. It's such a nuisance, and it's extremely expensive to do that. It costs more than cable for that, obviously. And if you have just one streaming service, your catalog is constantly dwindling and constantly subject to change, normally for the worst, because other streaming services are starting to poach from it. It just sucks. It super sucks. Companies don't really suffer for it, but consumers do. So I just imagine a world where Chick-Fil-A All Day Turbo Vision Plus, or whatever they're going to call the service, comes up and they just say, you know what, we're going to grab a couple of seasons from all of these different shows, this mishmash of a ton of beloved properties, and immediately slap them on our platform, and hopefully we can get some of those fans to just buy a subscription here so they can continue to watch what they love. I hate that. It's so awful. I am beyond tired of all of these streaming platforms. It's so unnecessary. It's like Horcruxes. You have to just defeat all of these other streaming platforms, kill them, let them die out, so that way you could just defeat this streaming menace and stop the gold rush once and for all. It's the only way. Chick-Fil-A hasn't announced or publicly commented on the programming initiative, but a pivot into entertainment production could be part of a bigger advertising or customer data play. Customer data is more valuable than money at this point. Every single company on the planet is doing everything they can to grab as much data as possible. It is the number one currency in the world, period. It's fucking crazy how much they salivate over data. But anyway, Disney does it with Disney Plus, and it drove Walmart's interest in streaming, which ultimately led to partnering with Paramount Plus. I highly doubt that if this streaming platform launches, and it seems like it's going to, it's not really a question of if, more of when. It seems like they're already so far down the pipeline here that it's coming. And I just have no confidence in the quality of the shows they're going to slap on there. I just have no faith that there's going to be anything worth watching from the Chick-Fil-A streaming platform. Now, maybe this will age terribly. Maybe in a year from now, this will be the number one platform. It produces just heater after heater. It's nothing but top tier level shows. But I'm just going to stamp my nuts on this here. I bet it's going to come out and it's going to be fucking flops. It's going to be a clunker. I'm speculating that this streaming service is going to go the way of Quibi. If any of you remember Quibi, God rest its soul. It came out and it raised hundreds of millions of dollars, and it tried to be this platform that delivered like big budget short form shows and movies, and they were all terrible. And that has since closed its doors, but it was a very expensive endeavor, and it was a very stinky one. I'm catching a whiff of that same smell with this pivot here from Chick-Fil-A. It's a smell that smells smelly. I'm huffing these rancid fumes, and I think it's just going to be completely worthless. That's my prediction, but I'm no Nostradamus, so we'll see. I'm not Baba Vanga, you know. But here's a very important tidbit here. The idea of a company launching an entire streaming service filled with feel-good stories just to sell chicken is a bit odd. Peculiar indeed, but those stories might just feel super good and have you scratching at your neck for some chicken. It feels important to bear in mind that Chick-fil-A is owned by the Cathy family, whose independently managed trust was instrumental in the foundation of Trillis Studios, the Atlanta studio most well known for its frequent work with Marvel. Chick-fil-A's corporate ties to the entertainment industry make this kind of move somewhat easy to wrap your mind around to a certain extent, but it's much harder to imagine people actually wanting to sign up for yet another platform that's probably going to be filled with commercials. So the family that owns Chick-fil-A already has an entertainment background, and from the bits of research I've done, they also have a lot of studios that don't see a lot of work right now. So I believe the idea is to just have those studios churning out content for the streaming platform to hopefully get a little bang for their buck out of those studios that are right now just kind of dormant. So to me, this seems like less of Chick-fil-A itself making this platform, and it kind of just being more of like the face of it to a certain extent. So it's wanting family-friendly content. It's going to be obviously advertising Chick-fil-A, I imagine, but it's more so the family that owns it already has access to these things to make content, so they're just going to try and make it for a streaming platform just to see how it goes, because they can, I guess. Either way, I still think it's a horrible idea, and I don't think anything good is going to come from it. Well, yeah, I guess I could be super wrong about that. It could be an incredible platform, but I don't think so. I don't see that happening. I had to talk about it a little bit, that's it. So yeah. I'm in my 30s now, so I'm not exactly a spring chicken these days, and the realization, the sad reality has started to wash over me that there's certain things I'm just never going to do. I'm never going to be a professional athlete. I'm never going to get taller. Like, I'm too old for a growth spurt now. I'm never going to be able to eat trick cereal. The point is, there are things that I've wanted to do, but now it's just kind of too late for them. And one of them is an idea that I think is so diabolical that it becomes a masterpiece. And it's something I've teased on stream for a few years. It's an idea I've had for a horror movie for so long. Obviously, I'm not too old to make a movie. Jesus Christ, Francis Ford Coppola is like 4,000 years old. He was around when they were building Atlantis, and he just made a movie last year, Megalopolis. God bless. Megaflopolis was something special. Point is, that's not why I don't think I'll ever actually use this idea. It's just become very clear that it's a lot to take on to make this kind of idea come to life. So I just wanted to deep dive on it here because this idea is like a Minto and I'm the Diet Coke. I just need to erupt with this. I recently just blew the lid wide open on this idea on a podcast I went on called Wine About It, and now it's just, it's got me all giddy again because I think the idea slaps so fucking hard. So feel free to use this if you want. I'll part with it. It's a horror movie idea. I've seen like every horror movie ever made. If your mother's cousin made a horror movie that somehow hit a streaming platform 8 years ago, you bet your sweet bippy I watched it. You would be hard-pressed to find someone that's watched as many horror movies as I have. You would be basically trying to track down a fucking unicorn. I saw a movie last year called Bagman in theaters. I bet you didn't even know that movie existed. It's a horror movie about a weirdo troglodyte that puts people in bags and then goes back to his cave. Like, come on, I've seen so much of this that I think I know what would make a horror movie truly traumatizing. Something that's never been done before. And I've teased it on stream that I've had this idea for years, but it's pretty obvious I'm never actually going to do it. So, my horror movie idea revolves around the concept that what you're seeing isn't just a movie. I always believed that to really rattle someone, to unnerve them, you would need to convince them that the movie they're watching is more than that. Kind of like what Blair Witch did back in like the late 90s. But found footage is more like found fuckage. It's just not very good anymore, and everyone's in on the shtick. No one's ever going to watch a found footage film and be convinced that it was real. At least I don't think so. So, I thought outside the box. About 3 years ago, something like that, I got reached out to by a movie theater company that was asking if we ever wanted to live stream in movie theaters. A peculiar offer, but the idea of having the Revolver God on the big screen, that's a game changer. But honestly, I just didn't see like a whole lot of potential with that concept. Like the idea of live streaming the movie theaters probably could work, but like what the fuck would I be streaming? Like grinding Marvel Rivals? Well, I mean, 4 years ago it'd be, probably repeating the Souls marathon back then. So didn't really do anything there, but it got the old biocomputer up here and the flesh machine turning. So my friends and I started brainstorming and gave birth to the most evil horror movie idea ever. So, what the idea is I would make a video, like a normal video, where I sit down and say, like, hey, we're going to be doing a live stream in these movie theaters across the country where we'll be doing my most dangerous video ideas live on the big screen. Get the popcorn, get your friends, and get ready to be blown away by my most death-defying feats. I've talked about this before in videos where I've had like some absolute stinker ideas for content that were just, it's be rolling the dice on my life for no reason. And one of them was I always wanted to try bulletproof armor and actually shoot myself with it, because the guy who invented Kevlar used to, and I think he still does, a demonstration where he puts on his Kevlar body armor and then shoots himself in front of the audience, and they're always stunned like, oh, and it's very cool. And I always wondered, what must that be like? Like, how painful is that to get shot in a Kevlar vest? So, that idea I'll never actually make into a video, but for this idea, we would pitch it as, we're going to be live streaming these kind of ideas from me. Then people would flock to movie theaters like they're lining up for Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith drop, and they'd be in for a real ride, a real hoot and a holler. So the stream would be going, and it'd be, setting up the stakes. We'd obviously have medical professionals on staff just in case things went awry, and we'd be delivering a high-octane stream. People would be giddy in their seat with excitement, having fun. And then I'm going up there for the bulletproof demonstration, trying it out, and then something goes awry and I end up blowing my fucking brains out. Something goes wrong and I shoot myself in the head and brain matter spews everywhere, pink mist, and I collapse to the floor dead. As my friends charge over, fucking screaming and squealing, Why? Why? No! And that's the big bait and switch. It was never a live stream. It was a video that we shot and pretended it was live. And the audience would have no fucking clue. They would sit there, most likely traumatized, thinking they just watched me die. Accidentally blow my fucking brains out like I just got assassinated. And I really think that would capture that same early hype as like Paranormal Activity, where people were apparently puking in the theaters or some shit. And I just let that stew. I'd let that marinate for a moment. Like camera drops to the floor and you just hear all my friends wailing, like shaking my lifeless corpse. No! That kind of thing. And then I never really ideated past that. We never came up with where it goes from there. But eventually it would transition to like an actual movie, so it wouldn't just be like a 20-minute event, It would then go into like some kind of movie, which we never bothered to write. It's just that intro, that hook, I think is so fucking strong. Because this is something that has never been done and can only ever be done once. You do this one time and it can never be done again, because then people would have the idea that maybe this isn't a live stream. But for the first time, they would go in and just take like the whole fucking clobbering, getting punched by this out of nowhere, like diabolical experience. I just thought it was so strong, but I'll never actually do it. Plus, I mean, I imagine if you did do this, you might even run into like some kind of lawsuit or something. That's also very possible. But yeah, I mean, the idea is like evil, like straight up. It is cruel, because again, it would be falsely advertising this live stream, even though it's not actually a stream at all. It's a horror movie, fundamentally. Now, of course, people wouldn't leave the theater thinking that I'm dead. As I said, I'd let it stew for a little while. I'd let it just, linger in the air like a fart wafting. And then it would go into a movie so people would be able to, connect the dots, realize, oh, this is all part of the gimmick. This is the shtick. Like, I don't think anyone would leave the theater under the impression they just witnessed my death. But for at least a handful of minutes, people would think that what they just saw was very real, which is a rare feat for a movie to pull off. And I just really thought that this was so unique and just so silly in like a very, twisted way. I just had to share this idea at some point because I'm not actually ever going to make it. If anyone does run with this idea, though, don't be afraid to give me a little tip of the old fedora and say, thanks, Charles, for the idea. That'll be just fine by me. So yeah, just wanted to share this. That's really about it. So yeah, we can watch the UPS driver now. Is it this one? I'm assuming it's this one.
On February 16, 2025, deputies responded to a report on a suspicious person wearing a UPS uniform who was prowling around the neighborhood. On February 16,
I guess it's the hat.
2025, deputies responded
I guess that counts. It's very like Agent 47 where you just throw on the hat and it's perfect.
Okay, do you have some ID on you?
It was a really big package, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, come on, step over here. How come you're dressed in a UPS uniform?
It's a joke. It's about...
Yeah, get your ID out. It's very funny. Sit down. This is weird.
Do you have any guns or weapons on you?
No!
Put your hands on the stick.
I like that.
I don't
Put your hands on the truck.
The classic, it's a joke.
I'll tell you what you look like. You look like a prowler.
What is it?
Put your hands on there. You're gonna get dumped on the ground. You understand that?
A prowler is a vehicle in Halo 3.
Prowler is someone who goes door to door checking to see if houses are gonna be unoccupied.
That is a terrible tattoo. I think it's like a big leaf, but it just looks like a single giant sideburn. Looks like Wolverine's mutton chops.
Is that a fucking gun? What is that?
I don't know. I found it.
I like that. Why are you dressed in UPS attire? It's a joke. Is that a gun? I don't know. Found it.
No, I'm not.
I'm not small. I just found it, sir.
Okay. What are you doing?
No! She had a fake tooth with cyanide. God, quick! Somebody do something!
That is the worst fake seizure I have ever seen. Knock it off.
No! You don't understand! The impossible Jesus.
I want to make sure you're okay.
Stop!
Breathe.
Then stop pretending to have a seizure.
You don't have a seizure.
Because you're not having a seizure.
You saved her! You're a hero! He brought her back!
I'm sorry.
Stop.
Oh shit, the aftermath of the seizure, it's coming! Man, that is an interesting looking gun.
Unload this.
This looks like one of those gadgets that old YouTube channel would bring on. I forgot the name of it now. The guy that would have like the wacky little illusions and tell you how they work. That's a cool little firearm there. I haven't seen that before.
Deep breath.
The noisy cricket. True.
Chris, make sure she doesn't have any other guns
I'm still
on there.
working on it because I don't want to get poked.
She is really regretting that fake seizure. No, I haven't seen that yet, Nord. Just go all the way and shock her. Yeah, imagine they get the defibrillator out.
Yes or no? It's not illegal to. Just tell me the truth. Were you just faking a seizure or not? Were you just faking a seizure? Okay. You're gonna put your hands up.
So do you need this Narcan or not? So I won't waste my life-saving medical supplies on this bullshit.
Wait, we're not sure yet. We might need it.
Number 2.
Like, I didn't know it was a real gun. It doesn't look like anything I've ever seen.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, officer. Far be it from me to question your tactics. This is like the worst way to be trying to unload a gun that you don't know if it has a round in or not. He is literally... Holy shit. That is crazy. Oh my god, he's been fiddling with it for a few minutes now, and I think he's just getting so fed up that he's just throwing caution to the wind. Basically staring down the barrel of this puppy here. Like, I know it's like a 22, but that can still kill you.
You're being questioned. If you can't afford to hire one, one will be appointed to represent you prior to questioning if you wish. Do you understand your rights as I've explained them to you?
Yeah, he said it might.
Okay.
Also, do you mind helping me open this gun?
Having your rights in mind, do you want to make a statement?
I can't quite figure it out. This puzzle's confusing.
I went to go check out and see what that burnt house looked like.
The burnt house.
I was just looking at the burnt house.
Okay.
I didn't break in.
Why do you need the UPS disguise?
Is it your house?
No, I just heard about it. They said it was super fried, and I just wanted to look at it.
How long have you been here?
But what about the UPS uniform?
Hour and a half, tops.
Okay. So the people that said you've been here for 8 hours are lying to me.
I promise on everything. Like, I'm not going to lie to you again.
Where'd you get the UPS costume?
My friend had it.
Why are you wearing it?
I just feel like people won't, like, look at me. I just wanted to
So
see
to
the house.
conceal your presence in the neighborhood, you're dressed like a UPS driver.
Well, yeah, but
So
I
what are
wasn't
you
trying
doing
to
that you're not
steal
supposed to be
anything.
doing if you need to dress in a disguise?
Well, I just didn't want it to draw any attention when I was looking at the house.
Where did you get this gun?
I don't see how that helps mitigate it, to be honest with you. Like, it's not like it's normal procedure for a UPS driver to just walk behind people's houses in their backyards. Like, hey, buddy, I was gonna leave this at your front porch, but I was a little afraid of porch pirates, so don't worry, I'm walking around through your pool screen here to drop it off. Like, it's a stupid idea. Like, it's not even like a good disguise. Doesn't make any sense.
Like, hidden, like, over by one of the...
This is...
like,
Watching him handle this gun is
I mean,
fascinating.
I did not know that was real, sir.
There we go.
I'm a felon.
And it was loaded.
It's real, it's loaded. So why are you carrying it around on you?
But I don't think Buddy recognized how close he could have come to meeting his maker here. That shit was loaded the whole time. Just before he unloads it, look at this. Look at the way he's handling this. They could easily pull that trigger down and he is still pointing it at himself. That's crazy how lucky he got. Holy. He's handling this like he's doing inspect animations on a knife in Counter-Strike. He got so lucky.
There's drug addicts and stuff there all the time. Like, I don't know if someone stole it or what.
Okay, so this is clearly labeled as a firearm. It says High Standard Derringer 22 Magnum.
I didn't look at it.
You didn't, but you put it in your pocket, right?
Yeah, it looked cool. As an antique piece.
Why do you have handcuffs?
Because I'm a fuck up, guys.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Why do you have handcuffs?
Citizen's arrest,
You're
sir.
a fuck up. Why are you carrying a pair of handcuffs around in disguise, wearing gloves, carrying a gun?
Oh,
It doesn't look good, does it?
No,
What is this?
It's a insurance put back together. I don't want to go back to prison, sir.
That's not up to me, whether you go back to prison or not.
Can you not send me to jail? Like, I'll do anything.
Insane loadout.
Anything.
So here's the problem.
So true.
Okay, is you're in a neighborhood you don't live in, dressed in disguise.
The fucking noisy
with a
Cricket
gun in your
22,
pocket,
5 pocket
wearing
knives, and a
gloves, with
UPS
a
uniform.
face mask on,
True.
dressed like a UPS driver. What the fuck are you doing?
Listen, I don't know. I'm bored. I don't have any
You're
friends.
bored?
I don't do anything.
It looks like you're fixing to kidnap somebody.
I promise.
Yeah, it actually does look like that. This is also the deepest pocket of all time. There's over 100 items in there.
Go back there. I did not know that. A lot of serious drug addicts.
She's acknowledged that she was faking the seizure. If you're good with that verbal, then there doesn't need to be any evaluation.
No, just it can come on at any time. We're not sure yet.
Okay, you're gonna have a seat in the back of the car, and just so you're aware, there's a camera back there filming you. You're under arrest for felon in possession of a firearm.
If only she had worn a different disguise, it could have all been avoided. Like a Domino's disguise or something, maybe. Poor planning. Gets you every time.
For the cameras at the burnt down house.
Oh,
And she did admit to being at the burnt down house.
Oh,
So this is so I see this.
yeah.
So she's going all the way, right? Going there, and then there.
I'll go talk to her.
Do you even need to talk to her further? We have her in like 4 different angles doing illegal shit. Like, is there even a reason? Alright, I mean, why not? Hey, by the way, we have the footage of you knocking down that camera over there.
I thought you told me you didn't go in that burned down house.
I didn't. I just walked into
Homeowner's got video of you.
I didn't go inside
There's
of it.
cameras there.
I did not
What are you
go
doing on the
inside of it.
property?
I was just looking at it.
Why? Is it your house?
No, sir.
Then why are you looking at it?
I didn't go inside.
You went on the property? For what?
I was just looking at the burnt stuff. I
For
didn't
what?
go inside.
Why?
To scavenge.
I was bored.
All right.
There could be good loot.
and possession.
That was a fascinating body cam.
On February
I do wonder what her plan was. It probably was break and entering, right? Like, that was probably the idea.
16th, 2025, deputies responded to a report on a suspicious
Try and
person
steal some
wearing
shit.
a UPS uniform who was prowling around the neighborhood. During the investigation, deputies found a firearm on the suspect, along with burglary tools.
Yeah, that had to be the idea. But why during the day like that in the uniform? I think she's just a fucking idiot. I think that's as simple as it gets there. She probably thought the UPS uniform would be a good, like, alibi if someone confronts her out back when she's casing the joint. She'd be like, "Oh, I'm with UPS! What? What's the problem?" Yeah, I know what you're thinking. When did Charles learn how to smolder like this? My God, 31-year-old man still stuns the old-fashioned way. Well, it's because today, for some reason, the internet has decided to feed me beauty-related news. Don't know why. Haven't searched up anything. Like, the closest thing I looked up to anything even remotely associated with that topic was, like, melatonin supplements, I guess. But I don't know if melatonin helps you glow or whatever. I don't know how that would build a bridge to beauty-related articles and everything, but whatever. One of them that got served to me I found to be so fascinating that I just have to talk about. Influencer suffers from severe chemical burns after attempting to remove facial parasite. So you can see on the right there, it's still in the process of healing, but it looks as though she had briefly peeked into the Ark of the Covenant and singed the lower half of her face off. And it's because she put Nair directly on her face to combat this supposed parasite that she is now named Caroline. It's a really interesting adventure here that I stumbled upon. So this is Brandi Glanville. She was a star in a show called Real Housewives, as well as a couple of other productions, and she has since become an online influencer. And apparently in 2023, she started experiencing symptoms that resulted in facial disfigurement and was later diagnosed with stress-induced angioedema, which causes facial swelling. And according to an Instagram post, it presented itself after a trip with her friends, and since then, she has now claimed that it is actually a facial parasite that is causing the facial disfigurement, so now she has waged war against it and has given the enemy a name, Caroline. That is the Voldemort for which she has sworn revenge, and recently used biological warfare against it with Nair cream on her face.
Okay guys, I'm getting back to you because I don't know how to do TikTok and I know I look attractive. So, good news, you guys don't have to spend a lot of money on peels and lasers anymore because I decided to put Nair on my face because when I have an exfoliated face, it pisses the Caroline off, whoever's living in my face. Just right here right now and right here. And then she moved up here when I did the Nair. And yeah, but you know what I mean. So, Nair is the fountain of youth. I figured it out, but I overdid it. 7 minutes, don't do it. But right now, my mom, because she trusts me.
She then proceeds to talk about her mom being there. But anyway, she thinks there's a parasite living in her face, which is why she's taken such drastic action against it. Though there is no evidence to support that claim, there is nothing to suggest she has a facial parasite. Now, of course, I'm not her doctor and haven't conducted an exam myself here. Maybe it is entirely possible she got bitten by the radioactive spider that gave Spider-Man his powers. I have no way of knowing, but from an uneducated Neanderthal's perspective, sitting in his swamp-ass chair, I decided to look into it myself a little bit. And to me, this sounds like delusional parasitosis. Again, this comes from a Cro-Magnon man, but But it does sound like a textbook example of this, a condition in which a person has a fixed false belief that they are infected by an organism despite evaluation not showing an infection to be present. This refers to things like bugs living under their skin, parasites, worms, mites, that kind of thing, even though there is no doctor-supported evidence of it. So now with this belief in her head, she's going scorched earth on her own face. So she's carpet bombed it with Nair, which has clearly done a lot of damage to it. I don't think it'll be permanent. I imagine it'll probably heal fine. But again, I'm no expert on chemical burns, Nair, or pretty much anything, to be honest. Though I just have to imagine with that whole, like, nairing your butthole thing, I think the body's pretty resilient when it comes to it. It's just not good to use it on your face and other areas that it's not intended to be used on. I did also see people speculating that this could be Brandy covering up a laser job or an injection gone wrong or something like that. This could all be a false flag operation, and using Nair as the scapegoat here, like, oh, I tried to attack Caroline with Nair and look what happened. I don't know if I necessarily buy into that conspiracy theory, just judging by the way she talks about it. She is named the parasite, which, yeah, on the surface is kind of quirky, but it also, to me, kind of represents something a little more unhealthy beneath the surface here. She's already, like, from the sound of things, disregarding the medical diagnoses and instead has self-diagnosed as having a facial parasite, and now even after the whole Nair debacle here, is claiming that Caroline dodged it and went up to her forehead now, but it made her angry. Like, she's talking about this fucking thing like it's the Demogorgon here. Like, again, something that there is no evidence to support its existence. I don't think this is her, like, making a cover story or anything like that. I don't think it's her trolling, especially judging by the description here. Beauty hacks. This is a good one, but do a test patch. I did 7 minutes and I'm on fire. So... Joko. What? So... Oh, that's not a J. So... Ioko. Don't to 7 minutes. It also burned the loose skin off my arms and it's $7. Mix up some aloe vera, cucumber, and black tea, put it in the freezer, put it in the spray bottle, and once it's cold enough, spray all day because I'm in some pain. Reading it in my head, it didn't clock with me just how messy that description was. Reading it out loud was painful. I was like fucking reading Haunting Adeline out loud. I had a hard time getting through that. It was all over the place. That actually read like unhinged scribblings. But what she is saying here is that she has found Nair, used it, but was too aggressive with it, but still is preaching about Nair as like a good thing to try for like exfoliants in like chemical peels, when it's not a good thing for that at all. But she's even giving a tutorial like, I did 7 minutes, but don't do that. Instead, use aloe, cucumber, black tea, freeze it, and then spray it, and you're good to go. Do not follow that advice. I urge you not to make the same mistake she did of like narrowing all of your sensitive spots. You're gonna not have a good time. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna be singing the blues on it, I bet. But the reason I'm even mentioning the description here is none of this leads me to believe that she's taking the piss. None of this seems like it's her making a joke or something. She is like actively trying to give advice on like using Nair on your face, which is a bad thing to do. I do think this is a case of delusional parasitosis, and when I looked up Brandy Glanville plus Caroline to see like if the name had any meaning, turns out it does. It seems like she named this facial parasite she believes she has after a real person, Caroline Manzo, who filed a lawsuit against Bravo, which was a station where this show was airing, Real Housewives. Caroline filed a lawsuit against Bravo for sexual harassment and assault that she allegedly experienced from her co-star Brandy Glanville. I couldn't believe the depth of the lore here, so I went even deeper into the rabbit hole. I then even checked out bits and pieces of the podcast, and then I also read this article which covered more of the podcast, where Brandy was talking more in depth about it all. She was opening up about how hard her life has been since the allegations from Caroline Manzo were made public. She revealed that she had contemplated suicide during it, also opened up about her facial disfigurement. She maintains her innocence, that she didn't do any of the things that Caroline is claiming, but she apparently lost several jobs, including one lined up in Australia. And she said, and then I lost my looks at the same time. I literally at 51 started OnlyFans because I didn't have income for 6 months and I was like going through my savings. I was making good money and then my face started being crazy. She was apparently using a mask to hide her face, but then the fans over there were asking that she not use the mask. At the time she didn't have a diagnosis. Eventually she did get the diagnosis, but now, fast forward to today, she now believes it's actually all caused by a facial parasite, which she is battling with Nair, giving herself severe chemical burns on her face now to try and fight against the supposed parasite. This was a wild ride. Again, I don't know what I did to make the internet algorithm think that I wanted to be fed beauty influencer related news and articles. Maybe it knows I hit 31 and it thinks that I need to start doing things to take better care of my looks. I have no clue what it's trying to suggest, but I'm kind of happy this one floated across to me because this was one hell of a thing to learn about. Don't put Nair on your face, though. A lesson to all out there. That's really about it. See ya. I've seen some bad ideas. I've had some bad ideas. I've had some really bad ideas. For example, probably one of my favorite terrible ideas that I cooked up is where I wanted to test body armor by shooting myself in the chest while wearing it to see how much it hurts. Obviously, I recognize why that's a horrible idea, but you can't convince me it would be a horrible video. I think that would be a slapper. I think it would just be a full-blown red alert DEFCON banger for sure. But, point is, I've had bad ideas and I have seen innumerable horrible stinkers, especially from the likes of Ubisoft, who have become kind of like the Michael Jordan of bad ideas. That entire office, all of their headquarters, this entire company has basically become like Willy Wonka's factory for churning out dumb dog shit brain dead ideas instead of candy. And yet, what I'm about to talk about today is not a Ubisoft original. It actually comes from Meta. They have just announced what I believe to be the stupidest possible platform ever that will likely not be used by a single living, breathing, sentient human being on this planet, at least not on purpose. Let me introduce you to Vibes, a fully AI platform designed to share and create AI short-form videos. I just learned about this from Dolan Dark, who covered it. I had no idea. It feels like they made this announcement like whispered under their breath, because I haven't seen anyone even shoot spitballs at it. No one's even giving it the time of day to insult it. That's how under the radar it has flown. They have to know that no one wants this. Like, even people that don't mind AI content, I can't imagine being excited about this. There's just people that tolerate AI slop on TikTok and YouTube Shorts because it's become inundated with it now. It's like impossible to avoid. But I don't think even those people that can stomach that are going to be all gung-ho about going to a platform that is nothing but AI videos. That is a platform I can only see being used by bots. Just bots creating and sharing videos back and forth until the fucking heat death of the universe claims all our souls.
Well, Meta has announced a new feature on their app called Vibes, which is basically TikTok, except the content is entirely AI generated. As if scrolling TikTok wasn't brain-numbing enough, now you can do fully AI generated.
For the longest time, I thought considering yourself a professional Redditor, like a Reddit content creator, was the most pathetic title you could ever give yourself online. But I think if there's ever a point where someone unironically refers to themselves as a Vibes content creator or like a Vibes influencer, that should actually be grounds for some criminal charges, because that cringe is just illegal. There would be nothing more pathetic at all. I actually couldn't think of anything. You could come out and talk about being like a scat fetishist cuck or something, and I would still think there's more dignity in that than being a Vibes content creator. Anyone who even uses this platform, I think, should be shamed. It's so trash. There is no purpose to it. I cannot even picture what the person would look like that would be interested in a platform like this. Like, maybe some kind of like out-of-touch marketing octogenarian who thinks this is like a good way to promote a product or a brand, so they'd be like dumping endless advertisements on there. But I don't think there's anyone there that wants to consume that. Like, I don't think there is an audience for it at all. You're just putting it out to bots, because bots will no doubt use this. It'll be nothing but bots. This is exactly what that shit would be utilized for bots to endlessly fart out just AI content. But as far as like an actual platform people would use, there is no value here. There is nothing at all to gain from it, not even slightly. And I know, and Dolan Darkest also talks about it, that shorts and TikTok have become just completely ravaged by AI content now, just out the wazoo. Like, some of the most viewed videos on YouTube are just AI YouTube shorts, which aren't even really being consumed by people. It's just bots also watching it.
Short. Some of the most viewed shorts being this nonsense where a cat's watermelon car is crushed by a female transformer. And then this one with 50 million views with two fat people sitting in the mud and a train's behind them. And that's it. And the baby gets up and starts running and there's a watermelon there for some reason. And despite it having 50 million views, it has about 30 comments, and this is what the comments say. This video is really helpful. This deserves recognition. Bunch of emojis, and then this tutorial is very impressive. I did not expect it to be this good.
Yeah, you know that short was a turbo hit. Just look at the comments going ballistic for the big old man milkers running from a train with that woman and her baby joining along for the ride. They love it. This video is really helpful. This deserves recognition. I love cat. There wasn't a cat in the video, but they're just making a bold statement. They're not afraid to tell it like it is. They love cat, goddammit. What are you gonna do about it? Big whoop. You wanna fight? And then, of course, the one Dolan Darkest also mentions about the tutorial, which this is not a tutorial. It's clearly bots. It's not people watching this. It's just bots. And Dolan Darkest also went to that channel, and they have, like, actually 50 different variants of that exact same AI video. Just with, like, the different ethnicities, as well as, like, different trains. It's such a mess. So now it's an entire platform of that. Who is going to watch it besides just bots who also aren't watching it, obviously? It's a waste. Meta is so out of touch, it's laughable. But here, you know what, maybe I'm just a big old sourpuss here who can't see the vision. Here's the key takeaways. This was the first step towards a new way to discover, create, and share AI videos, which everyone has been begging for new ways of being able to discover AI videos. It's hard to find them these days. You don't know where to look. They're just so hidden. And there's so few of them. So this is a really great service. We're rolling out Vibes, a new feed of AI videos at the center of the Meta AI app. You can bring your ideas to life with new AI visual creation tools or remix an existing video by adding music. So I already love that they're encouraging, just go ahead and steal other people's videos because, I mean, it's AI. They don't even own anything anyway. They didn't actually create anything. So why don't you just take that video and add some different music to it? Or, like, maybe put it through a Studio Ghibli filter. Like, there's so many different options to remix that video. It's so good. They're just immediately just encouraging that shit. Vultures. Parasites. Anyway, though, they're rolling it out. I really like the images they show here for this little section. Good morning, Alex. Create an image of tiny treehouse for squirrels in the forest. Restyle my photo as cyberpunk. Create a video of a dog playing jazz. Holy shit, that's a game changer. This guy's a visionary. AI is giving this genius the tools to bring out-of-the-box ideas to life, like a dog playing jazz? What? I've never even heard of something like that before. This is crazy. This guy's going places. He's able to see things that no other man can see, and AI is allowing him to share this creative vision with all of us, from inspiration to creation, just as advertised. Holy shit, thank you, Vibes. Yeah, I didn't mean it as an exaggeration. I really think this is the worst possible idea for a platform. It is a platform that will actually probably break records for being the only website or the only app that has 0 users. Like, actually 0 downloads. It will entirely just be bots. It's so fucking stupid. Like, Jesus Christ, Rate My Poo from the early 2000s was a more valuable and better platform than Vibes. And that was a site dedicated entirely to strangers rating pictures of people's shits and toilet bowls. Like, somehow that has more use and value than Vibes. It is so sickening. It is gross. It is despicable how stupid Vibes is. It actually makes me upset that this would not only just be an idea, but something they're actually going through with. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.